What were the biggest problems with the first generation Ford Kuga? Well, in my opinion, it was small interior and even a smaller boot. In the second generation, Ford designers tried to address these issues. I just hope they didn't spoil anything along the way. At first glance, the new Kuga looks bigger than its predecessor, and it is. The second generation is around 8 cm longer and 2 cm higher than the first generation, and the boot is about 100 liters bigger. It now offers 450 liters of space. Still, it's nothing to write home about. Toyota RAV4 has a boot which is another 100 liters bigger. However, just like in the Toyota, also here we have the electrically operated tailgate, and you can do it with a remote control. It's an option, but I think it's an option well worth paying for. In the back there is good headroom, but mainly because the seats are located rather low. The kids won't have a great view in the front, and adults won't be comfortable with thighs high in the air. The middle seat is symbolic, and whoever sits here will end up kicking the front armrest. I know the air vents had to be mounted somewhere, but in Peugeot 508 someone thought this through and left a little gap by the floor to place your feet. The sitting position in the new Kuga is rather high, at least I feel like it's higher than in the older car. I like the older car because it sort of felt like a crossover, almost like a hatchback, and here I feel more like I'm driving an SUV, and I don't think it's a case of growing up, it's a case of this car being global. The Kuga in the States is now called the Escape. Of course, thanks to the higher driving position, I have better visibility, but if you like the old Kuga for hatchback-like handling, you'll be disappointed here. The interior layout is pretty much the same like in the Ford B-Max, Focus or C-Max. No surprises here. The steering is a compromise at best. In the old Kuga, I liked its hatchback-like handling. You could change the power steering settings between comfort, normal and sport. Comfort and normal, nothing happened really, but in the sport mode, the car became really sharper, the steering became sharper, it was well weighted, and I really like that. And here, it's more about comfort really. And the suspension is set for comfort, which means the car rolls heavily, even in the slowest of bends, and the nose dives under braking. Under the bonnet we have the same engines like in the old Kuga. So here I have the 163 horsepower 2-liter diesel, that's top of the range. It comes with all-wheel drive as standard. If you want a front-wheel drive car, you can get it with 140 horsepower 2-liter diesel, and in case of a petrol 1.6 150 horsepower EcoBoost, front-wheel drive is the only option. Prices start at around 21,000 euros. This middle-of-the-range model costs about 30,000 plus options, and if you choose the range-topping version with all the options, you will get somewhere around 40,000 euros. Interior quality has improved somewhat. There are a lot of these soft touch plastics, so that's nice. The gearbox is adequate, I would say, but because the torque is available rather high for a diesel engine, you have to shift a lot of gears to make the car shift. Storage space is average as well. I mean, there are some cup holders here, there's a center cubby, but I don't have a place to put my mobile phone, and I don't like putting it under the armrest. So the place where I can put it is here, next to the navigation. Now, there used to be this shelf all the way down there in the old Kuga, and nobody knew what it was for. Here there is a shelf in the front, so that's nice, next to this huge 5-inch screen. Oh, come on, 5 inches? Really? Smartphones are bigger than that nowadays. Anyway, now this thing is finished with rather hard plastic, so if I brake or turn, my phone will just move about. There it goes. Come on, go back. Okay. And finally, there is a sound insulation, or rather lack of it. At around 90 kilometers per hour, the wind noise and the engine noise are getting quite obtrusive, and on the motorway, things are only getting worse. But the car can be specified with all sorts of safety systems like adaptive cruise control or lane keeping assist, which will bring the car back into its lane. There is also parking assistant, so the new Kuga should make a good family car. Over the years, buyers of the first generation Kuga grew up, matured, they now have families, and they expect more functionality from their cars, and Ford understands it. You're now getting more car for pretty much the same money. However, over these years, competition was hard at work, and there is really a lot to choose from in this segment.